So next is my presentation. Swapping over to that hat. The topic is Beyond Data, Mastermind and Genius Coaching to Work Smarter, Not Harder. Not sure if anybody recognizes who that man in the center of your screen is, or the people standing around them, around him. You can go and put that in the chat. Put who you recognize in that screen, and let's see if anybody can get them all while still being concentrated on what I'm about to say. So I'm going to talk now about data, one of my favorite topics, of course, and what I need to say is that there's data everywhere. There's data in your business. There's data about your business and about your industry. And it's really, we're swamped by data these days, and it can be really quite overwhelming to understand, well, what should I be doing with all this? You know, you should be doing something with it, but you know, hey, your focus is just on keeping the wheels turning. So what I see commonly happen is people probably aren't looking at it, or aren't looking at it often enough, or potentially aren't understanding it. And yes, it's daunting to know where to begin. The keys things that I think you can look at through these lenses at your data and the data that's out there. Firstly, look for things which reveal your weaknesses, and so you can address them. Data can also identify your strengths, so you can double down on them. So what are the data sources that can help you do that? It also can reveal industry trends that you can act on, both opportunities and threats. And so you've seen some example there of the data I showed you on the volumes that have been installed. That might mean that you are a bit more defensive on your spend rather than aggressive on growth. That said, if you look at some of the lead data we present on the consumer interest in the industry, then you might go and say, okay, now's a good time to invest in growth. The ultimate thing, I love the comments there. Chuck Dale in the US Dream Team, there's quite a few there. I'm loving, people who watch basketball then will really appreciate that dream team. So the important thing is data helps you make decisions, and ultimately, you know, what's the outcome of that is if you make better decisions, you get more profit for less effort. And considering how much effort people are putting into their business, you should be getting more profit out of it. So what can you do with your data? Here's some examples. You can compare your margin and conversion rate to others, so you can hit the profit maximizing sweet spot. And so you can be a high margin business and it may affect your conversion rate and vice versa, but you don't have to be a low margin business to get a big business. You can be, as some those points up there, high converting, high margin. You can ensure you remain competitive by comparing your prices to others. Here's some sample prices that are out there in the market recently by panel there. You can target your growth areas and concentrate on places that you perform well. So that's, for example, some of the top performing postcodes in recent months that you can look at both at other people's data, but also at your own. You can contract and compare your volume to the market. So having seen the charts which I presented, it can be useful to see, okay, well, what do my charts do? And we actually provide a service where we say, okay, well, this is what's happening in the industry. And not only that, here's your market share and how it's evolving. So you can see if you're outperforming the market. And then you can also track your best converting products and places with another eye on the market. Well, a lot of data there. What I've seen the results of this. I'll give you a couple of examples here from a account which I won't reveal. It's definitely not Sophie Wright's account. This shows the top on the left. The top chart shows the percentage. Sorry, the revenue proposed by product, and then on the bottom chart is the revenue actually sold. And what you can see from this chart here is that this company led with SunGrow and Trina twice as often as they led with SMA and Trina, and 4 times as often as they led with Fronius and Trina. But when they actually tallied up what they converted on, SMA and Trina actually as a result is the drives most of their actual revenue realized. And Fronius and Trina isn't that far behind. And you can see that the color there, I won't go into much detail, but actually it had a much higher conversion rate. So consider if they put their concentration onto those products which are doing best for them, where their business may be. And in the meantime, perhaps drop some of the products which are underperforming. On a similar level, the chart on the right shows the revenue proposed for individual salespeople within an anonymized company. And what you can see here towards the right of the chart, the line width is actually what's perhaps more important. So the height of the line shows you how much has been proposed. The width of the line shows you how much has actually been realized. And you can see this person who has been, solid mid-level performer has been and there's a lot more effort being put in by some of these other people who are further up the chart at the end of September. But actually, in terms of conversions, he's outranking them all. So again, consider which are your strengths of your solar salespeople and how you can adapt and train your mix. Worth saying, data is not your engine of your boat, it's your ship's crew. It helps you study the charts. You can identify rocks ahead, steer in the direction with the least headwind. It's not necessarily going to make your ship go faster necessarily, but you'll gain more ground by being smart with it. You can discover where profits leaking out of your business and mend those leaks. And you can also, of course, raise the sales. Just want to say briefly, SunWiz has transitioned from a provider of tools where we do Intel and software, etc., to a solutions provider. Basically, we take clients through a journey that implements the tools they need to address the complaints that they've been having for years and years and years. And that encompasses a whole heap of things, but basically everything we do, we go and work with a select number of individual clients on a very close basis to transform their business. And so I'm very excited about that. You can hear a little bit more about that in the Great Solar Business podcast. And if you'd like to take the first steps of exploration of what SunWiz is doing, then we have a service, a process of that identifies leaky profits, including a questionnaire and report that can compare, identify where your profits are leaking most and what you can do with it. That process is generally, we charge at $500 to run you through that. However, if you're an Open Solar user, type into the chat, "Stop my profit leaking," and we'll send you that for free. So that's me. Again, we're about to hand over to our panelists now. Things to watch out for today: differentiating your solar business using solar software with verified industry-leading accuracy and automated 3D assessment. Something that's easier than shopping around 2 hours a week to negotiate pricing and getting is actually doing integrations. You'll hear some more about those. Finance first sales, better post-pandemic messages than buy solar before you die, and the outlook for equipment supply and prices. With that, I'm going to figure out how to stop my share and just open up to any quick questions from panelists before we dive into the next chat.